So go ahead, Sean, while I get
Okay,
there.
why you get that? So one of the things that I absolutely love talking about is the fact that coming from the background of being a celebrity wardrobe stylist and being a style, like how I got into even being a brand strategist was because a lot of the clients that I was dealing with were entrepreneurs. And in dealing with them, I had to show them how important it was to build a positive and trusted brand image. And it's not just about what it is that you're selling, it's also about how you're showing up for yourself. And what we've learned is that it's real easy to get the bag, like Jackie said. It's real easy to do a whole bunch of stuff in the background, but when it came time to present it, and I'm coming across this so much, but the more that I do coaching, the more that I facilitate, is that the confidence is not there. But let's go one step further and think about why the confidence is not there, right? Because we're talking about like first impression, things like that. If you are not ready, or if you don't have the confidence initially, she said the echoes from style. So now she's getting echo from me.
Okay, hold on. I don't know where the echo's coming from.
I hear it again. I didn't hear it for a second. I wonder if I need to, but if I mute you over here, I can't hear you.
Would rather stay all night coding instead of partying.
Like I hear it a little bit again.
It's here that they learn to work the levers of advanced technologies to not only further
How about this? How about we just head over? I'm gonna put your TikTok in here, and let's just get everybody to go over to your TikTok until we can figure out
Okay.
why. Instead of because like trying to stream from different ways, it's just not working. So I'm gonna post this in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, because I hear it now.
Okay. I think that it's coming from your side with the stream.
It must be StreamYard then, because that's the only thing that's up. Okay, that's good to know. Hold on, let me do this over here.
So we're gonna shut down StreamYard and just stay here on TikTok.
Yeah, and it actually says that there's echo cancellation, so that's weird.
As long as it's too complicated.
Okay, can you hear it echo now? Can you hear anything now?
Can anybody hear an echo now?
Because what's crazy is the echo cancellation was checked and I heard more echo. I don't hear anything now. Well,
Danielle, Michael Spencer, any folks here on TikTok? Stephanie Ray, you can't hear. Okay, she can't hear the echo.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay,
so it might have been that echo cancellation, which was actually bringing more
echoes.
Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and close this out. So you guys, I posted the link to Jackie's live over on TikTok. If you don't have it, we're going to go ahead and go over there, and then until we figure this whole the stream yard thing and how to stream differently, we're gonna stay over there. All right, let me close out of that.
Okay, yeah, let's close out stream. So I'm gonna leave stream. Okay.
There we go. Can y'all hear me good now? I closed it. Can y'all hear me? No echoes, no nothing?
Yeah. So I have StreamYard closed. So now we know that.
Now we know that it's StreamYard, right? So, and again, that's supposed to be technology helping us get to this next level. So again, let's get back to it because that's a whole nother conversation when it comes to doing that stuff. But so what I was saying as far as like helping businesses get to the next level, and when it comes to your first impression, like what I found is through facilitating and coaching these clients over the last few years is the fact that they do not have the confidence to even do that first step. So instead of me just saying, okay, what I'm doing basically is putting a band on it. Let's just have you do this other stuff on social media, but no, let's actually get to the reason on why you're not confident. And a lot of it is because, as Jackie said, like we are, and as busy entrepreneurs, I've been there. I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs that follow you and follow me as well. We get so caught up in being busy that we don't take care of us. And not taking care of us is the okay, I'm sitting here and today I was a little bit more intentional with what I had for breakfast. However, it's real easy to go and grab Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit because it's easy and I don't got to cook and I don't got to do anything. However, it also then turns around and plays into the business part of it because then I don't want to get dressed, or especially with me being in brand image, I got to always be on. So now I'm like, oh, now my stomach looks a little puffy and wondering why, because I just had that Chick-fil-A. So it's like, that's how we want, that's the conversation that we want to have today. So Jackie, you can go ahead and chime in on that.
Sorry, I was making sure I threw a comment in there. And I'll be, going through some of the comments here on the end of TikTok. But thank you all so much for joining us, like Ashana said. And one of the things that I've always gotten from First Impressions, and for people who are new here, if you follow me, thank you so much. Do me a favor, if you are here, double tap on the screen so we can get the information to go out from the live so that both audiences know that we are here. It is a planned live. But looking at lifestyles and living and health and wellness. On TikTok, you might know me affectionately as nutrition coach of Jackie and Jackie About Nutrition, but this wasn't always my life, right? I'm an IFBB pro women's competitor. That also wasn't always my life either. My background is in education. I retired as a principal at the age of 43. I'll be 47 next week. And I wanted to really have some control over my life. I love my job. I didn't leave it because I didn't like it or I wasn't well at it. Like I was really, really good at it. But, I decided I need to take control of my health. One of the things that I know that I experienced as a person who was once 100 pounds overweight, yes, I was 265 pounds. Because the questions are going to come up, I'm going to answer them now. I am 5'8". I wasn't heavy as a child. I gained a ton of weight, about 85 pounds with my second pregnancy, and then an additional 15 pounds after that. I kept 100 pounds on for a while. 2009 going into 2010, I saw a picture of myself and okay. I just sent you another invite, Shauna. I looked at a picture of myself and was like, okay, no, why didn't anybody tell me I was this chubby? As a principal, when I crossed over into the world of leadership was where I really started learning about the negative and very stereotypical judgments that came against people that were heavy, right? I went to grad school. I read the books. I did everything I needed to do. And I remember being in a meeting with upcoming principals and me presenting some information to principals and everybody just kind of like, oh, okay. And another young woman who was in the room who looked very fit, literally just almost repeated verbatim what I said word for word. But because of her look and how she showed up physically, people were like, oh yeah, great idea. And I was like, I just said that.
Yep.
Did y'all not hear me? Oh, you didn't hear me because somehow we're equating chubby with stupid.
Yeah.
And it was mind blowing for me. In comparison to me being recently at an event in Virginia Beach, hosted by Tony D. Silvestri, huge business owner. Magic Irving Johnson was there. All of these heavy hitters in branding, marketing, facilitating this huge conference in Virginia Beach. Like the VIP tickets went of close to $5,000. I got 2 of like the lower tier VIP tickets for free. And I wanted to sort of test out this theory of how my physical body shows up now in relationship to, are people going to pay attention to me? Thank you, Big Clyde, for the compliment. I was in the front of the room. I had to go to the restroom. And I had on just like, business casual, business sheath dress. Remember, I was a principal, so I got clothes. And Shauna was my stylist. And I had on a jacket. And so I purposefully removed my jacket to get up to walk through the auditorium and across to go to the restroom. When we were at lunch a few hours later, 7 people came up to me throughout that day and said, I don't know who you are. I don't even know what your business is. But I couldn't even listen to the presenter because I was so stuck on watching you. You look powerful. You look smart. All of this is unprovoked. And I'm thinking to myself, would I have gotten that same response if I was Jackie at 265 pounds? You know what I mean? So it is really one of those things that we have to pay attention to. And what I want for their business owners is to be able to say, how does my outward appearance match my inward power? How do I rectify that? And I'm not saying that you have to look like me to be powerful or perceived in a certain way, not at all. But how do you want to look and feel to be able to have longevity in your career, longevity with your business, and to show up? And to show up for yourself in a real way where people aren't discounting you because they're making a negative assumption based on their own personal biases about something.
Yes. And I think that that's the thing that in business, a lot of entrepreneurs seem to skip over that part. So, like when I was heavy into doing the wardrobe styling and having those conversations, people didn't understand about how they had to show up for themselves and being in these rooms, especially when it comes to Black women. We already have to fight to be in certain rooms. So when we get in those rooms, we want to make sure that we are standing tall and that we are being heard, and not being confident. To me, that it shows. And for years, I've always said that. I remember having a client who went away. She went to a conference, and I want to say it was for, it was like branding and marketing or something like that. She went to a conference, and I'll never forget, she wore a tutu. And she was like, I'm like, a tutu? But, that was the thing, I guess, back then. And she wanted to meet this certain woman, and this woman who could put her on a map and do this. And then she went, and she was disappointed. She came back, and she's like, Miss Shauna, how do I reach you? I want my clients to be like you, who have no problem with paying, who've been in business for a long time, all this. Well, first of all, ma'am, you can't come up to me looking like somebody's little sister, right? So, but in her mind, she was doing what a lot of people do, which is cover up. Right? So she's covering up her pouch and doing all of that. And so she wore what instead of wearing, so let me back up a little bit. So then when she asked me to help her reach this woman that she wanted to reach, she goes and maybe about 2 months later, we planned for her to go to this other event where this lady was going to be at. And I said, let's change some stuff up. At the time I was not in the mindset of nutrition, but I knew that we needed to set her up a certain way. She did not feel confident in what I put her in because of where she had been when it came to nutrition, because of how she ate and things like that. So me putting her in something, she was no longer comfortable and didn't want to be in this room. I remember she sent me a message and she said, Ms. Shawn, I don't feel comfortable in wearing this. And I'm not going to argue with you. If you pay me to do something and you don't do it, all right.
Yeah.
But she ended up deciding to do it. And she decided to go ahead and put the outfit on. And I said, make sure you wear undergarments. You know how I am about my undergarments. I said, go ahead and make sure you have on your undergarments. And when I tell you, she owned that room. She was so excited. She ended up meeting the lady who gave her an opportunity to speak at another one, gave her free VIP tickets. So many different things stemmed from that change and that shift. But again, it goes back to that. Why didn't she feel confident from the beginning? Right. So she was wearing, which a lot of us do. I've done it. I have friends that I watch, and I watch them get dressed, and I'm like, they're going to their comfort wardrobe because they ate like crazy for the last 2 weeks. It's time to go to an event, and here I come with my little dress on, and they're like, oh, you always got on something fitted. And not to say that you always have to wear something fitted, but you want to feel comfortable in whatever it is that you're in. And a lot of times that stems from more, and I can't coach you out of that.
No.
I can't coach you out of that. That's something that you have to actually, it's a learned behavior. And again, something that I didn't learn. And I will say, and I know we said I'm not sure we were going to go into that, all these quick fixes that are popping up all over the internet. But again, thinking about all of these people who are running to get these BBLs and running to get the Lipo 360, all of that.
And I definitely, I'm over here writing notes on things I want to touch on.
Okay. But we're doing those quick things instead of really thinking about how first of all, how that can impact you. right? But then the difference in making sure that you are already, because it doesn't matter how much surgery you get, if you're still not okay and you don't make those life changes in order to be confident in who you are. And that's before you even get into business. But I feel like a lot of that gets skipped over and we just jump into business and we're just like, okay, we're going to do this. Oh, let me just go ahead and make this money, then whatever. But don't want to be in rooms, don't want to go network. I hear that all the time. I just sent somebody a message the other day because I'm down here in Houston and I'm like, well, I want to go to this event. And she was like, yeah, well, you always dressed up. And I'm like, ma'am, let's have the conversation because it ain't about me being dressed up.
Right.
Right. Again, I think that it's something that we really, really need to talk about, have conversations about. Go ahead, Jackie. I know you said you wanted to follow up with some stuff.
So I definitely want to hit on the quick fixes. And for people who follow me, they know that I'm not one of those people that's into the quick fix thing. Whenever I've been asked about my weight loss and my transition and how long that took, I tell people it takes a lot of time. Do me a favor, if you're on the live, double tap the screen so it gets out so we can get more people in the room. But in terms of a person going into, and I see this oftentimes, and I get business owners who will call me and set up consultations because they have had Lipo 360 or they've tried to do some of these other quick things or these juice cleanses and all this other mess. And they restrict, can hold on to it and then rebound and gain all the weight plus some of the weight's cousins coming back. And what I want to say about this is, and I made a graphic about it because people were trying to, sometimes, people on social media, especially here on TikTok, we like to be willfully confused. We like to just stick in this place of confused and want to argue semantics on language. I'm an educator. I'm not going back and forth with you on semantics all the time. This is the point. This is what I communicated. It is what it is. And so there's this big war right now on it's insulin. Insulin is supposed to rise and fall as we eat food. That's the job and the role of insulin. And now you have people selling products saying this is going to keep your insulin low all day. But what people are doing is they're trying to do all these other things instead of attack the problem. And I know at least 4 business owners that I have had consultations with over the last 7 days who have Grubhub histories that look like CVS receipts. I mean, if you just take 17 Post-its and put them together, this is what the Grubhub history looks like. But what they're doing is they're like, well, I'm just insulin resistant. No, you're not. You ordering too many junior bacon cheeseburgers. You will become insulin resistant, but insulin resistance undiagnosed is not your issue. Your Grubhub history and the way you eat is your problem. Or they've gone and they've gotten some surgical procedure and they don't do the work of understanding nutrition to how to maintain that body, because however you lose it is what you need to do for a lifetime to keep it off. And so if you get surgery and you keep going out, slamming down Casamigos and weddings every weekend, you're going to have to keep pumping money out for surgery.
Yeah, and talk about that too when it comes to like the fact that they think that what they can do, especially in a social environment. Like I had to learn how to say no.
Yeah. So I just finished up a call with a new client I'm taking on. And part of what she's a nurse. And so part of what we're doing is looking at her life and how we have to change some things in her life. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to get to a goal. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some things you're going to have to forego for a little bit before you get to that. And so going out and eating out meals at restaurants or with friends at their friend's house multiple times a week. And I'm like, okay, so part of what we can do, because she's lifestyle, she's not looking to, lose a whole bunch of weight. But part of what you have to do is, if you are going to your friends and you're having a gathering, you need to take your food with you. You need to be able to control your controllables. So everybody else might be eating chicken and buffalo the whole night. You can't. You can't do that. You cannot go and just bottomless mimosa and buffalo chicken dip your way through the evening, because that's not going to help keep you and maintain what you've worked hard to do. Going to restaurants, one of the things we're doing with her is we're actually sort of pre-planning. We're going to pre-game, right? So we'll look at the menus, decide the restaurants they'll go to, and what she can eat within the parameters of the goals that we have set up for her. People just want to say, they lose a little bit of weight. It's nice out. It's sunny. I got my little outfit. And the first thing we want to do is run outside and eat. That's the fastest way to gain that weight back, because you took away that time of running outside to eat. Now you've gained some weight. Now lost some weight. Now the first thing you want to do is run to somebody's happy hour every week. You cannot get into a position where you get yourself to your goal and then say, okay, now I'm gonna just ball out of control. You have to maintain some of those things that you do through business, through life, through social settings. I was at a dear friend's wedding a month ago. I'm prepping for a show. I plugged my Hot Logic heater in next to the DJ stand at Tammy's wedding and heated up my food in a gown. And people are like, is it that serious? Yes, it's
it is. It is. And I think that's what people are not understanding is how important and how serious that is, and how it shows up in other aspects of when it comes to business. So it's like you showing up to those or not showing up to those social settings, and even that peer pressure, you have to be able to say no. But again, that goes back to that, knowing what it is that you want to accomplish and showing up in a certain way. And I think that we don't think about that. We just, okay, let's just go ahead. And she said, that's why I mostly cook my food. You never know that part, you never know what is in there. But then to me, I feel like it's easy. I'm also sick of going to entrepreneur events that have to do with food. Cause that's something in itself too. Everything is surrounded, especially socially. There's so many socially things that is around food. So whether it's, okay, let's go to this entrepreneur networking event and it's at a bar.
Yes.
I'm like, no, and that's like one of the fastest ways to get me to not go, because as someone who has had Lipo 360 and know that it had changed my numbers and did certain things for me, I knew going into that, I prepped for that for about up to a year.
Yes.
But I also was not prepared for everything that came after it, because now, I even had to, even after that, and eating the way I was supposed to eat prior to that, afterwards, my body was really in a whole nother space. So I almost had to change, I think it was I want to say it was broth, something that they told me that I was eating too, which again, I didn't know that, because I'm thinking that everything that I'm eating is right because it's green, or because that's not the case. So it's again, and a quick fix can turn bad real fast. And for me, brand image was huge. So I had to be out there a certain way at all times. It's different now that I'm down here in Houston. Don't nobody know me, so I can just walk out with my little, however I want to. But in Pittsburgh, I had to show up all the time. So that was on me. But again, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing initially. And I wanted that quick fix. And now it's something completely different, because even though they take those fat cells, you will literally get big everywhere else. And there's a girl that's on TikTok that I follow. And she was on, I want to say one of my YouTube videos. And I'm she posted that she was going to go get it. And I want to say she was probably a year or so before me. By the time I had my procedure done, she was big again.
Wow.
She was big again.
So I just want to touch on this for a second, because there was a question that came up, and I want to make sure I'm looking at the questions as they come up too. Somebody said, how many times a day should you exercise? So in terms of that, it depends on your goal, right? For most people, if you're not doing any exercise, the pandemic set us down, really. If you're not doing any exercise, then a 30-minute walk a day will work miracles. People downplay the power of taking a walk. 30 minutes. You don't have to do anything strenuous. Now, if you are a person who works out regularly and you might have to step it up a little bit. My suggestion would be, especially for women, throw in some weight training. Please throw some resistance training in. There's a woman, I listened to her TikTok this morning, and she was 500 pounds. she got bariatric surgery, and she was making a video telling people like, hey, I wish I never done this. She right now is malnutrition. She has osteoporosis. She got the surgery to add and get more time back on her life. And she feels like her days are numbered right now. She has so many health issues because she lost 300 pounds really, really fast, a lot of muscle, a lot of bone density, and she has to take all types of medication. She has so many more medical issues from the lack of nutrients her body is able to get, just by the fact that she can only eat a small number of food. I think she said for the majority of that first year, she couldn't even really eat solid foods.
I think that, and a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to, because a lot of people are running and getting that gastric bypass because of all these loopholes and stuff, especially TikTok and stuff. I have a client who went and did it, and like, but here's the thing though too. Now you have all of this skin. And now what? Because you still have, now we're back to the same thing. And now I'm telling you that I want you to do more networking. I'm telling you that we got to do this photo shoot, and you don't feel comfortable in doing a photo shoot because you got skin hanging on your arms. Like we have to start making this a part, nutrition a part of our, when it comes to women entrepreneurs being busy, you're not that busy.
No.
You're not that busy. And if I can say that somebody who is busy as heck all the time, if I can get up and the little bit that I do, and I'm far from, you might get me 15 minutes over there at that gym. It's across the street. But it's more than what I was doing before, and I noticed a difference in my body. I noticed a difference.
Do you see, and from a nutrition perspective, meaning what people are eating, your clients that you're working with and they're trying to work on their brands and their brand image, what do you typically see, say if you meet them in person or you're talking about their lifestyle, things that they're eating? What are they typically eating? What do their food patterns look like?
Most of them are not eating. Most of them are not eating, which is something else. Or if they're eating on the go. I've had people say, I don't have time to eat, and then they're not realizing that with them not eating, what that is doing to their body as well. They're not understanding, they might not be eating enough, so it's like, I'm like, how are you not eating? And then you think you're getting ready to be working all day or, running around all day or something. And it just doesn't make sense. I've actually watched a girl go from, I want to say when I first started working with her, she might have been about 170 pounds by the time we were done. But we were like maybe 3-4 months in, and she had gained like 15 pounds, and she said she hadn't done anything different. I'm not a coach. I couldn't tell her what to do as far as that go. But if I'm asking you, like, what are you doing different? If you're just sitting around and not eating, or when you are eating, you're grabbing the wrong thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's why. So then what did we do? We had to push the photo shoot back. We had to push the video. We had to push the launch back because the look that we wanted. And then she blamed it on me. Because I wanted a certain look. And it's not that I wanted her to be skinny. I just want you to be confident. Right? So it's not necessarily about everybody just being this thick. No, that's not what we're talking about. What I'm talking, I want you to be healthy, and I want you to be able to show up confidently for yourself and your business. You can't do that if you're eating. And again, I was guilty of it. I would go to McDonald's and get a sweet tea and a small fry.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day. And wondered, and that goes, like you said, and went to the doctor said, you're pre-diabetic. Girl, and then I was mad. My husband was like, you get a sweet tea every day. Sometimes, and that was my thing. Like literally, I would get a sweet tea, and I felt like that was my, like I could, like, and that was an excuse. Well, I'm not really, I could drink off of that all day.
Yeah. You
can't do that.
No.
You can't do that. And the more that I did that, I went from, I know when I had that surgery, my waist was, I want to say 38. I want to say 38. And that was not me. Like I knew that. And I wasn't feeling the way that I wasn't me. Like I wasn't as confident, even with me doing video. Like I love doing TikToks. I love recording and things like that. I was no longer doing that. After I had the surgery, my waist actually got down to a 29. It was like between a 29 and a 30. Right now, it like kind of goes back between a 30 and a 31. What you will not catch me doing is going to grab a sweet tea, because no, you say even now, water. Like, I've learned how to love certain things, because again, I have to show up. Whether the thing that I'm going to on Saturday, I have to be confident in what I am saying and the information that I'm putting out there in front of all of these people. If I'm not confident, it's going to show. That's going to affect my business, because then they ain't going to want to work with me. They're not going to want to do my classes. They're not going to want to sign up for my mentorship program. They're not going to want me to coach them, because I don't sound serious. But it's not because I don't know what I'm talking about. It's because I'm not confident in me.
Right. And one of the things that I learned from you, and when we even talked about branding, or when I was doing stuff, early on with Jackie Yvonne Nutrition, and you were like, Jackie, you are your brand. You are your look. And I'm like, you're right. And for me as a person, right, I'm a certified sports nutrition specialist. I take that very seriously. My background is in education, so I'm teaching people how to eat and move for the bodies and lifestyles they want. But I am my ideal client. My age bracket, my thought process, my income level, my lifestyle. I am my ideal client. So one of the things I learned from you and thinking about my ideal client is, if I was not me and I'm looking for someone to help me with my nutrition, what do I expect? I expect them to look like me.
Absolutely.
Because this is how I want people to see me from across the street and be like, yeah, she works out. She's in the gym.
Yep.
And that's just my preference. That may not be everybody else's preference. And I'm not trying to shame any other creator, fitness person, whatever else who does not look like me. But for the people that I attract, the ticket price that I demand, what I'm coming with, I know that I have to show up and look a certain way, because the expectations for them to be like, oh, she's my nutritionist, and let me show you a picture of her. And let me show you what she used to look like. And not what I used to look like 6 months ago, because now I just did some cleanse diet and, I'm down for the summer. I'm hot girl summer in it. No, I was 100 pounds overweight 2010. It's 2023. I'm still here. Now, does it look better than it looks in 2010? Absolutely. I wasn't competing then.
Right.
No.
Right.
But in knowing the value that I bring, I know that I'm getting a higher client pool if I am confident in what I do that matches what I know.
That part. And that's what I literally, like I said, writing notes and taking up. So one of the things I want to mention as far as like attracting your audience, right? Like when people are talking about attracting your audience, and yes, you'll hear me talking about logos and things like that and how your stuff is supposed to be set up. The majority of the clients, 90% of the clients that I got are because of how I showed up. It's because of me being attractive. So like you mentioned, as far as like who your audience is and the way that they show up or the way that they come at you. If I want somebody to do my hair and their hair is not done, or if you're telling me that you can lay my hair out and your hair is not done, like that trust is broken, right? So like, to me, I think that especially when you're in a space, and right now we're in a space with social media where people are loving people. Mm-hmm. So you have to represent your brand as such. You mentioned as far as like monetary, you cannot ask for certain price points if you come into a space. And I take it back. You can, but I've been in this game for a long time. When somebody says that they are not making money, I can almost always do an audit and know exactly what it is.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You point it out in a minute.
Yeah, I do. But again, it's not to be, it's just that when it comes to where they want to be, or where, like what their goals and stuff are, you can't say that this is the goal that you want to reach and don't want to deal with everything else. And again, like I said, like with everybody being with social media and stuff and everybody loving on people right now, you have to be that part. You have to attract those who are going to pay like you said, your fee, the ones who they're not going to question anything. Like again, and I think as far as you go, you show that your business is like first of all that it works. It shows that it's a trusted, so like when I talk about presenting a powerful brand image, like you're literally that person.
Yes.
That presents a powerful brand image. You know what I mean? So it's like, and people say, oh, it does make a difference. How you show up in your pictures. I got to show you guys on my Instagram. One of the picture that gets me, I got 2 clients because somebody went to my Instagram the other day based off of this look. This was about, I think we did this photo shoot two years ago.
I love that picture.
Thank you. I do too. I got a whole bunch of them in the office. But that picture is what people see, and they're like, oh, like she knows what she's talking about. To the point where people even be like, I have to save up off of this picture. I got to save up to come work with you. So all of this stuff matters. So that's it's so important. Like I cannot stress it enough to make sure, again, not just for you, but for your business. You want to be confident enough in everything that you are laying out on the table. Like I met a girl who was on Facebook, and I'll never forget, she was selling a $5,000 program. Jackie almost bit. I was this close to biting. When she did her live, and she had sent out probably, how you do the drip campaigns. And I'm like, I love this. I can't wait to log on to this live and do whatever. She showed up with her t-shirt wrinkle. She was sitting on the box and there was kids running around. Ma'am, why am I going to give you $5,000? That whole look changed everything for me. When we end up having a conversation maybe about like a month or so later, she showed up like that because she felt like that's who she was going to, that was who she wanted to attract. But those same people who were in that space did not have the funds or the finances to pay for that $5,000 ticket. And she's like, I never thought about it that way. Yes, there are certain ways that you have to maneuver things, whether we believe it or not. Because a lot of people will say, well, people shouldn't judge. We shouldn't. That don't mean it doesn't happen.
Right.
It absolutely happens. It happens all the time.
And also price points. And there is something, and I will say in terms of, my services, one of the things that in terms of being on TikTok, sometimes, usually I'm on and I got on something total elite, got on my brand. But the other thing I'm also paying attention to is I know I'm going to attract a wide range of folks. My audience is primarily women, primarily over 40. But interestingly enough, I have a solid number of male clients because, believe it or not, there are a lot of men who struggle with their weight too. And something about they've built a relationship with me. They've watched me over time. They know that I'm about the hard work and doing something that is going to be systematic, easy, and true. And so there isn't this place of, they're feeling some type of way of their weight or whatever the case it is. But I know that depending on how I show up, there's going to be, I have a lot of people sort of in the queue, like, let me save up my money to work with you on your 16-week program. Yeah. But I also have to be aware of the fact that I do have some people who either they're not there financially because they're just not there financially yet, or they don't know me well enough yet to be able to make that heavy investment. So I have some other offers, but I still try to make sure that I don't come on not presenting myself in a way that something wouldn't stop my eye and pay attention to.
Yep.
And it's not about respectability politics or lining something up with professionalism, because that's another conversation for another day. For me, it might be like, I know, for example, when I put on this Lip Bar Boss Lady red lip and I do a live, I know what's going to happen. I know that if I come on a video and I have a lot of skin showing, I'm going to have way more men on my live videos.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
I know that when I post pictures, it's going to attract a certain thing. And here's the other thing I wanted to talk about. And I'm seeing this a lot, especially for the entrepreneurs who are in the health, wellness, and fitness space. Hey, Mary, it's my girl. Come on in the room, Mary. I've noticed a lot of women who are in that space. They want to work with other women, but they are marketing and showing off beautiful bodies. But
Come on.
the women who want to follow them, that's not what they want to see. So looking at your analytics to say, okay, who is my audience? Are the people who are following me the people who are going to come to me and spend money with me for my expertise? Or are they just here watching my body for free?
They're just here watching the body. And that's that mixed messaging that happens often because
Right.
and they're wondering why they're not getting any sales. Remember, like when I was saying, like how I can look at somebody when somebody signs up for a consult and I scroll through their stuff, I can immediately see and know what they're doing wrong and who they're attracting. But that to me is also another confidence issue because me trying not to have my thing drop. To me, I feel like that can be a confidence issue because it's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that instead of what it is that you're like really in business for?
Right. Is it confidence in your content and your knowledge base? Because I have a young lady that I'm working with that I'm mentoring who was a former student of mine who she was doing a lot of stuff and showing and I pointed to her, we were talking about one video that she had and it was supposed to be like an arm workout. Well, her butt was in the screen. Girl, why is your butt in the screen?
Why is your butt in the screen?
Because you are trying to attract young women to work their upper bodies. And so you want to show them the techniques. But for views and likes on Instagram, to get the numbers up, this is what you're showing. So, yeah, you got a bunch of men liking the picture.
And not converting the sales.
But that's not your clients. Yeah. They're going to like it. It's a butt on the internet for free. They're going to stop for free. Who's not going to stop and look at it is a young lady you want to attract, or maybe even the young man you want to attract who wants to learn what activities or what exercises can I do for biceps? What should I eat to get this in, right? You're talking about you got to eat healthy, but you got your butt crack in the screen.
Or it's like this.
Yeah.
How they do that?
Yeah. Yeah, that. It's so looking from that perspective to say, how are we showing up in these spaces? I know when I look at my analytics, 90% of my audience are women, 10% is men.
Same.
And because I'm not online overly showing I know what it looks like, but the people are following me. They're listening to my messages. They're listening with the knowledge I'm giving them. I have literally had people, and because I'm terrible, Shonda, don't be mad at me. I actually blew your face up so I don't see. I have had people DM me, come up to me. I had a woman run me down in the airport in North Carolina. She's like, oh my God, I follow you on TikTok. And I've been listening to what you're saying and I lost weight. I was at an event last week and a lady came up to me. She said, I have been following you for over a year. I have lost 100 pounds. Now, the business person you said to me when I told you the story, you should have did a picture where they got a video. Nothing in my brain, I'm terrible with that stuff, said, I was just so excited. I hugged her, we talked, and then she walked off. And 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I should have got her to give me a testimonial.
Yep. That testimonial. Wait, man. I didn't call people back. Can you come here and redo that for me, please?
Okay.
Can I have you say that again, like out loud? Like, absolutely. I think that you have some good points right there. I just think that when it comes to entrepreneurs, like I said, from a few different standpoints, especially when it comes to like messaging, I think that cross messaging always happens. But again, like that's somebody that's in fitness, if they are showing that side of them, it's like you said, like, why are they, what is your ultimate goal when it comes to business? If that's the angle that you're going. And the thing is, you don't have to show skin. And I think that the way that social media has set a lot of things up lately, or I ain't gonna say lately, just in general, is that this is how you have to present yourself. When all you have to be is confident in you and the information that you're putting out there. And again, a lot of that most of that starts at home before you even open up your mouth, before you even do it. That confidence starts with you, and it starts with what you are doing with your body. And I think that, again, this is something that is not talked about enough. I feel like, being as somebody who has trained and seen all of and dealt with all kinds of women, not seeing what the real issues are. And a lot of those issues is the fact that we have to deal with us before we can. I've never understood. I remember years ago, this white man told me, he said, you are not going to be successful in business until you are successful with you.
Wow.
And that was me. And I'm like, shut up, white man. Shut up. You ain't talking to me, girl. But literally being in this space, and everybody thinks that I'm supposed to always be on, but being in a space where I was not loving my body, my confidence was not there. You know what I mean?
Thank
So it was
you,
like,
Jason.
yeah, my confidence was not there. It was, and especially since I had to be front and center all the time, it was like, what do I need to do? And if you don't know, you just do what everybody else seems to be doing, especially like on the internet and stuff like that. So I think it's really important to have these conversations so that we can get to the root of the problems.
That's Mary. She said, I don't even
Mary.
sit in lives, and I'm in this one.
Hi, Mary. But with thinking, just doing that, just talking about this more with entrepreneurs who feel like they kind of like they take the easy route, especially when it comes to nutrition, or it's just something that they just don't think about. But again, like shoot, a lot of them don't think about target audience either. But again, we can tie all of this together, because without attract the right audience, you're not going to make any money. You can't attract the right audience because you don't have the confidence to do what it is that you need to be doing. Why don't you have the confidence? We keep asking why, and that same white guy, when he kept asking me why, I remember being in tears by the time he got to my real why. But it's what I needed in order for me to say, you know what? Yeah, because I mean, honestly, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I have about, I want to say a $4,800 credit with my surgeon. It's very tempting to go back under the knife. It's real tempting. Yeah. But the more that I think about like what it is, like, and what I have and have not done for me first, I haven't done the work.
Yeah.
Or I've half-assed it. Like I've half-assed it. Like, okay, I will absolutely do what I'm supposed to do, in the morning, in the afternoon, but the evening kind of does its own thing.
Thank you, Real Fitness, for the gifts. Thank you all so much. Being honest with self. Yes, Linda Kid. If you all could double tap the screen so we can get the live out there more. And Shauna, what you said is really important. It's something that I press my clients to see, because people want to come to me and they're like, okay, I want to do it. I want to look great in your 16-week program. And I'm like, the 16-week program is going to give you a start to be armed, to be able to know what to do for a long time. It's a starting point. Yeah. We're not going to fix everything in 16 weeks. I can teach you a lot. But the point is, I'm giving you the foundation. You got to take care of the house for the rest of your life. I've done every diet there is to do. And the one where I decided, Jackie, let me work on my brain first and figure out the why. Why am I doing this? What is it I'm committed to? And you might see this a lot in business as well, where you might give somebody something that they need to do for their business. And then you meet with them a couple weeks later and they haven't gotten that thing done, but they've done all this other stuff. And you're like, but you said you wanted to be an entrepreneur. You said you wanted to have the freedom and the flexibility and make money, but you did this. So you have to do this, but you did this. And in business, we call that the knowing doing gap. So I like to help people understand, what is it that you are unknowingly committed to versus what you need to be committed to. And I shared, there was like, what unserious, generational curse you break it. And I shared one and I said, I'm not cleaning the baseboards every Saturday to music. I am not doing that.
Right.
One, I don't want to.
Look, I
Two,
ain't laboring. I'm sorry.
there's a cleaning person for that. And three, there's other ways that I can spend my time because I have the means and the access to do it. But digging further in how this connects to my eating and my relationship with food. As a person who was a school administrator, my specialty has always been behavior management and change management. Always my specialty. Thank you all so much for the compliments. One of the things I did with my teachers and what I do with my clients is get them to see something that they are unknowingly committed to. This dealt, and when we look back at your family role, any particular traumas that come up. For me, my family role was family hero, right? I was a straight A student. I never got in trouble. I did all of these things to maintain that status in my family because of things that my parents were going through. I couldn't afford to get into trouble because of fear that I might be taken away from them. How that showed up in my adult life being heavier is I wanted the perfect home. Everything had to be perfect. The home had to look perfect. The relationship had to look perfect. The children had to look. I was there. My house was the house that the kids came from football practice and basketball practice, and they came to Miss Jackie's house to eat because there were snacks. It was welcoming. You can come in. I know some of the kids, their parents may have been working. They might even came to me for homework help. So I wanted to have that place. My son was 16. We lived 3 blocks from the school. He was at football practice. Now, I wanted to lose weight, eventually getting to the space of competing, which means that I need to do cardio in the morning and I needed to, I needed to do weights in the evening. But because I wanted to be perfect mom and do all of the things for my children that my parents were incapable of doing for me, I was driving up the street, getting him from school, taking him to football practice, waiting in the car, loading all the kids up in the car after practice, driving them home. And then it's like, oh, guess I can't make it to the gym to lift weights because I got to get the kids from practice. Until finally I start digging into it. And what it did is it made me test out an assumption. My fear was that if I wasn't superwoman and supermom, Jason, I tried to be I was superwoman for years, to the point where people bought me Wonder Woman shit. It was that deep. And it took for me to say for my son to be like, Mom, like, I can walk home, and I'm like, but won't, and I remember saying to him, like, that's not going to make you feel like I don't love you. He's like, no, like, we live down the street. I know you want to do this. But it was my assumption. It was my assumption that my kids would feel like I was neglected. Now, they weren't little babies. It was 16. This joker could have walked
Not
home.
16, girl, you play.
He was 16. I would do stuff like I would go home and instead of just going to the gym, I would go in the bathroom. And if I see the towels aren't folded the way, I wanted them folded like the hotel, I would refold all the towels. I'm cleaning the baseboard, scrubbing the house down, top to bottom every week, trying to maintain this level of perfection. For what? Everybody else is going to walk past these dirty ass baseboards and they don't even look at them. But I found out how to reclaim some of that time to have some time for me. Once I did that and I realized nobody gave a shit about those baseboards except me, I could take that time out of my life, hire somebody to do it. Now I have 3 hours every week where I could go to the gym, meal prep, or do nothing. I could rest. I could rest. And so what we have to do as entrepreneurs is we can't just, it's very easy to be like, I'm going to just order Grubhub because the food tastes good. And you don't have to apologize for yourself. You already decided you were going to do it. You're not physically harming anybody because you've decided I can be the sacrificial lamb, but all this other stuff will be perfect. Helping people understand that part and look that in the face is scary. It is not unusual for clients to be on Zoom with tears in their eyes with me, but we've developed that relationship, trusting, and they know I'm holding that space for them, and then saying, okay, now this is what we're going to do.
So I think one of the things that I want to go back to is when you were saying like what it is that entrepreneurs do. Like what I found is when one of my programs is a minimum of 6 months. So in talking them through certain things, again, I got to get them to the point where they are going to do. So like when we're talking growth, right? We're getting them to a point where they are no longer local businesses, where they are doing things nationally. So that's a different ballgame. Your pictures got to look different. Your website got to look different. How you're showing up on social media has to be different. What I found is there's a lot of clients that would come in and they would kill the first 3 months. But when it got when it was time for us to now shift over to the stuff, like you said, that had to do with them. So like now I'm asking you to do this photo shoot. We got to get your makeup done. I got to go shopping for you. I got to do this. All of that always got pushed to the side. And then when I start asking them their why, or, you know, like, why is this not happening? Because I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong as a coach. And no, it ends up being all of those insecurities and things that they want to go to. And that's when I was like, wait a minute, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a nutritionist. I need to like push this out somewhere else. Because
yeah. Somebody said, careful, you can't say KILL. Yeah, TikTok, we didn't mean that. I think it was just something about, thank you, Jason, for that. You know, we just start going and you forget.
You forget that TikTok will bang real fast. TikTok banned me for saying something one day. I was going to live on my way down to some networking event when I had first moved here to Houston. And they literally shut my live down for 7 minutes. I was like, what did I say? What did I do? Like, I'm just talking business, but it was a trigger word, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, like, there's so many women, and I see this more in of course, with women, they will do all the work until it comes to them. And that's the issue. Like I said, and it all makes sense that you said that, because like I said, they'll kill they'll do the first 3 months, kill it. Showing up.
Shauna, quit saying it. Keep saying the word.
I'm sorry, I keep saying it. They were doing the thing.
Right.
How about that? They were doing a thing. And then come that 4th month when it was time to transition for me to push them into working on them. Some comments in his live were filtered to protect the community's experience. I'm sorry. All right. They were doing what they were supposed to be doing. So with that, like I said, when it came to that 4th month and it's like, okay, now we're shifting some things and now I need you to show up this way. Or I would ask them a simple question. Clearly, Jason, clearly. But I've seen some other nonsense on here that never gets flagged. But when it came time for me to like, you know, bring in, because now we have, you know, a team. It's not me just doing the styling. It's not me doing the graphic design and all of that. When it was time for me to bring these other people in and sit them in the meeting, like, okay, this is what the vision is, and this direction that we're going in. They didn't want to have those conversations. They didn't want to have the conversations when I'm telling them like how I need their pictures to look. Mm-hmm. What it is that I need them to, how I need them to dress, or like their poses, like anything. They were not willing to do any of that work that came with it. Like, and I'm like, but why? Yeah. And you go back and you continuously have that conversation. We end up finding out one of the girls ended up being in she was in a relationship with a woman. Nobody knew, nobody cared. No. But she was in a relationship with a woman, but that was one of the reasons she didn't want to represent herself a certain way. Like, it was crazy. Like, so you find out a lot about people when you start asking these questions and digging deeper when it comes to like why they are not doing certain things. There was a girl who, she didn't want to tell me that she had the gastric bypass. Well, sis, I could tell, like, your skin is all over the place. Like, you know, and again, people think that we don't notice that, and we do, but let's have this conversation, because we still need to I still need you to do this. Right. So are you going to put your big girl panties on and say, okay, I have to tackle this because this is going to help my business grow? Because I'm not going to put like, and again, I think that the misconception is when you get with being healthy that we're going to, especially when it comes from our perspective, that we are going to put you in these little baby clothes and no, I just need you to be confident for your brand. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, I need you to be, if I say, okay, I need you to, somebody called and we need you to go to California because the BET Awards is talking about entrepreneurship or whatever, I need to feel confident that you're going to wear what I told you to wear, that you're going to say what you're supposed to say, that you're going to present your brand the way that you've paid me to help you present it. If I tell you to do all this and you're still not confident enough to do that, you're wasting the time.
Yes.
So that just, girl. Oh, that was a lot. Good afternoon, husband. Because it's so much, like I said, it's so much, because then I think that with being real, for me, being honest, I'm not a cook. Mm-hmm. And having to say, it absolutely is mental. Having to say that, because first of all, my husband didn't marry me for my cooking at all. I always use that as a reason to not do what I was supposed to do as far as eating.
Right.
That ain't no excuse.
Right.
Because you ain't even got to cook. You don't even have to cook half the stuff that I eat now. Like, I'm literally, the other day I wanted a chicken salad, but I didn't want like lettuce and stuff. Don't ask me why. But I just wanted like cucumbers and tomatoes. And I'm laughing to myself, like, I really am not cooking still. Yeah. And I'm able to eat, so it's like, that's not even an excuse, but again, it absolutely is mental. There's so many things that we as entrepreneurs that we kind of push to the side, or we make excuses for, to not be our true selves. And I think that it needs to change, because we're doing ourselves and our business a disservice by not being true to ourselves and not being able to push our business properly.
And from the part of looking at the food, one of the ways I come in and help people is like, I'm very practical and very practical. And I think I'm very much logically and systematically when it comes to health, wellness, nutrition, weight loss. Cause I've always been a systems thinker. And as entrepreneurs, it's like, you're ordering stuff, you said you're not a cooker. You're not a person who cooks, but hey, if anybody got questions popping in, one of the things you can do is, that's something else you can subcontract out. You can hire out. If we can hire somebody to clean our clothes, hire somebody to clean our houses, if you're not in a position to hire someone to be in your house to cook, there are meal prep companies everywhere. I have several clients who travel, who have businesses, who I help them pick out the meal prep options that they're going to do from the company that they're working on based in that. In addition to that, if it's like, okay, well, you're still not at the point where you're ready to hire a meal prep company, there are restaurants or businesses where you can go to and you can order certain things that are already prepared in bulk that you don't have to cook. Like, there are amazing places you can go. It's summertime, barbecue places. You can get all of your proteins done and then do the sides at home. There's a lot of stuff that we can do where you don't really have to be in the kitchen cooking all the time, especially if you're not a person who likes to cook or knows how to cook. There are people who can do that. But people don't think about that. They think, I'm gonna just order. Because it's an excuse. I'm busy. I need something to eat. This is going to make me feel good. It's a reward. Sam's Club and Costco are great. Listen, Sam's Club and Costco, those rotisserie chickens, in a heartbeat. Yep. I remember we decided the day after Christmas years ago to gut the kitchen. It was a great idea on paper. It was the dumbest thing on earth. And it was in the middle of I shouldn't even say a couple years ago. This was like, I was in a really great place in my weight loss journey, and I was getting closer to thinking about going on the stage. There was nothing in my kitchen except for a sink and a stove. The dining room, the refrigerator, everything was in there. I would go to Subway and get salads, but those salads were the bowls. One bowl would just have like cucumbers and peppers. The other one would have spinach. Another one would have some other vegetables. Then I would go to Sam's Club and I would buy multiple whole rotisserie chickens already cooked. Get them home, debone them, and take the skin off. Nobody likes eating a cold rotisserie chicken that's still whole. You won't eat it. If you debone it, take all the meat off, then you got meat in a separate container, and you can use the bones to make bone broth and all this other stuff. I'm in the kitchen. I would get the fajita steaks that are already made. They don't have a lot of sodium in them. They're just marinated and cooked and flash frozen. I would get those. There are so many ways to get the food you need in bulk without having to say, because one thing about me, I was 265 pounds. I wasn't heavy as a child. I was athletic. I had terrible eating. I have great genetics. My genetics said to hell with you, lady, when the second child came. But one thing about me, as a person who spent 10 years being 100 pounds overweight, that inner fat girl, she's still in there. And if I don't have what I need, oh, it's nothing for my brain to be like, sis, just go to Chick-fil-A. Because why not? It's made and it's cooked. But what I do now is I don't put myself in those positions to do it. So even when I'm busy and even when I have to travel, I make sure I have what I need. And as entrepreneurs, we have to look at, if we say we want to be healthy, we want to get the A1C under control, instead of buying all these stupid systems, drinks, teas, detox, and gadgets, and people are like, I'm just going to fast. You can't even stop ordering Grubhub. How the hell are you going to stick to a fast?
And I ain't going fast. Like, I ain't going to lie. Like, to me, I think those things are weird. Like, to fast and do all that stuff. And I know it's like, there's different people that will say that works. That's something that wouldn't work for me. At all, because I know, like, and I've probably did this like before I had the surgery, because I kind of trained my body to eat at certain times. So I know that I'm like, okay, around this time I need to get up and eat by a certain time. And I know I usually get hungry again, like around 1 o'clock, and then again around 3. And then I might want something, not anything major, like around 5. And then again, maybe around 8. But that 8 o'clock is usually something super light, because I've probably eaten what I was supposed to eat, like heavy, earlier in the day. I'm trying to kick that 8 o'clock like, what do I eat at that moment? Because that's my bad. Like, I know that's for years, that has been a bad thing for me. I'm sitting in front of the TV, I'm done working, I need like snacks that I can just kind of grab that are not going to put weight on me like overnight. That's something that I have always struggled with, but I pretty much have everything else together. Even with me switching out, I was a diet pop. Like, I was with 2 men who were diabetics. Both of them are entrepreneurs. My husband is a diabetic, and you already know, like, all the different things that he has dealt with. So those things, even having that mate, is also triggering as well. You have to make sure that they understand, like, what your goals and stuff are. He had me thinking like, oh, just get a diet pop. And I'm like, so for years, I'm thinking I'm okay drinking diet pop. And the moment I stopped drinking diet pop and went into water, I lost like 22 pounds almost immediately, just off of drinking water. So you can, and he laughs every time. He said, he's like, you got so much water. And I don't pee as much as I used to. But I think even then that was probably because I was dehydrated, because I wasn't drinking enough water. But we will go out. We went out last week when my cousin Joy was here, and I had this cute little glass. She's drinking. I had this cute little glass that had water and a mint in it. I know how to get my high off of that water. And my husband's laughing. He was like, you really got water at the bar. I did, because again, I know if I drink that water, I mean, if I have a drink, what that's going to do to my body. And I got to do content in 2 days? Hell no.
No, not doing it.
I ain't doing that. Not and going a little cute and trying to sell some dresses, because for those who don't know, I also have a store. So I have to look a certain way with that as well. I seen a question, didn't you?
There's a question. Jason said, what is the current why behind building or maintaining your brand?
Whose why? Like your why, or what do you think he means by that? Because like now my why has changed over the years. Initially with my why, it was always fueled by money initially.
Okay. Jason he said both.
Okay. The more that I've got to, why is that not going away? The older that I got, the wiser that I got in my business. For me, mine is more peace. I have been a mom since I was 15. Domestic violence survivor, always told I wasn't going to be anything for a long time. I'm an only child. There's a lot that I held on to, trying to prove people wrong and do things like that. always felt like that I had to reach this certain level of financial success. After my husband got sick in, was it 16, and he didn't walk for about a year and a half, that changed my perspective on life. It changed my perspective on life, just not with my business, but on life in general, that you can be here today and gone tomorrow, that things happen at the drop of a dime. So I no longer operate in my business as financial. My goals now are to do things that are income producing with the least amount of work, so that I can do things like this and talk to Jackie and talk to other entrepreneurs to educate and bring more and allow them to grow their businesses differently, especially when it comes to kind of sitting around and making money in your sleep. That's where I am with everything. I do a lot of swimming across the street. But this is like the life that I wanted. I no longer want it to be a thing where I'm stressing about a bill being paid or worrying about like that. That's no longer me. I want to spend time with my family. My kids are grown, but I spend a lot of time with my husband. So that now is my why. Like I said initially, it was super financial. But that's me.
For me, Jason, to answer your questions, there's two parts to it. So initially, I got into business because I saw a need to be able to take something that I love. I've always been a person that I got to stretch out every couple years. I became a principal really, really early. I became a principal of the largest standalone middle school. On top of that, I was one of the lead trainers for restorative practices and restorative justices in school, meaning like folks were flying me to like Costa Rica and places all over the world to teach and train. In that, though, I found myself still sacrificing myself for something else. And I wanted to get away from that. I never intended to retire as a principal just because I knew I couldn't be one to just sit in one place for long. When I walked away from education, there was a bunch of stuff happening. I walked away from a doctoral program. I was a year and a half into a 3-year program. I left being a principal, a curriculum writer, and a trainer. I was making boatloads of money at a very early age. I wanted peace and I wanted to be able to take care of myself without running myself ragged. I knew it was time for me to take care of myself when I had to leave a very quick girlfriend's weekend at the beach, and I got a call that two of my students did not make it out of a house fire. And I left immediately. Nobody said, oh, we need you to come. It was the summertime. I needed to get back to game plan for how I was going to put things in place for my current students who were at the school who knew this student and his younger brother. I had to put things in place for teachers who had connections and relationships with the students, their families, all of that stuff. And that I'm like, I can't live not ever being on. As a school principal, there is no right? Something's happening all the time. So I wanted to do that. The other part of it is I started to see more people who were in very important positions where people needed them to be, that they were stepping away from, that we were losing good service people. Like I left education and people were like, oh my gosh, it was a loss. And I'm like, I understand that. I look at it now as my role of saying, how do I empower people to take care of their health and wellness so that we don't lose them in these important jobs and they can continue being a service of others, but taking care of themselves at the same time? It's never been about the money for me in terms of being an entrepreneur, because I always say to people, like, I don't want to work that hard anymore.
Oh.
I don't want to work.
I ain't doing no labor. I ain't doing nothing.
I don't want to be an 8-figure health and wellness. No, how much work that I want to be. When we get done with this live, I'm getting my book, I'm getting my bikini, and I'm going to the pool and I'm reading.
Facts.
I got a book I'm finishing. I love to read. That's what I'm going to spend the rest of my day doing. When I'm done with that, I'm going to take a nap, I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to get up and wash, rinse, repeat. Jason, can you speak to a couple of the struggles you faced then and now? as a business person. Walking, trying not to keep up with the Joneses. Trying not to keep up with the Joneses and understanding that it is my business and I have to be okay with how it progresses. And that means if I need to take a break from social media, then I just take a break from social media. I still struggle with marketing and focusing and trying to get all the moving pieces and parts together. One of the things I really struggle with from the athletic clothing line side, managing this place where people will like it, they'll share things, but purchasing from my folk, that doesn't come until they see other people hopping on the trend to support you. Same thing with nutrition, right? People knew me as Jackie the educator. I'm a great principal, I'm a great trainer, great stuff. But getting them to embrace and accept my content and my knowledge around nutrition, they saw a few people coming on. When I landed a spot on TV, honey, everybody and their mama wanted me to come to speak. And I'm like, I invited y'all on the ground floor. I am smart. I am always going to be a good bet. But now people wanted me to come and speak at things for free. And I'm like, but I'm going to send you this invoice.
Yeah.
But when I wanted to do it for free, you didn't want me to come in the room. And I am a huge proponent of, I'm going to always have a seat at the table because I'm bringing my own chair. And I'm going to scoop my way in and make my place. And so that's sort of the hard part for me right now is in business, is being able to come into these new lanes and still with that same zest of keeping my why at the forefront and moving forward for that and not being afraid to step out and just do stuff. The other thing is a struggle with, I don't want to go outside. The pandemic really ruined me. Like I'm going to the pool and the gym and the grocery store, but I don't want to go outside. I don't know. I like being in the house, but I know, especially being in a new state, I'm in Virginia Beach specifically, that I have to get out and I have to network and people have to see me. And I know when they see me, they've already decided, oh, we're going to do whatever she wants us to do, or give her whatever because this lady looks serious.
Yeah. So I want to answer his question as far as like the struggles that, some of the struggles that I feel like early on was, like Jackie said, as far as like when people, like what people taking you serious, it wasn't until I was winning awards and doing different things that people were like, oh, okay, she really knows her stuff, because I've had my store since 2005.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just taking you all with me. I gotta eat, so.
So I've had it since 2005, and I have definitely had some times where I have failed, mm-hmm. and when it was time for me to make that shift, there was not the support and stuff that I needed, and then I also feel like there was not, especially for us as Black women, when it comes to funding and financing resources and stuff, back then they are not the way that they are now. So those are some of the struggles that I had. I do want to make sure that I can reach as many entrepreneurs now so that they don't have to go through some of those things that I went through, which was starting over. Like, that's why I pushed so heavy with following the steps, hiring a coach, doing things that are going to help you accelerate your growth instead of kind of staying where everybody was at. If I had the same information now that I had then, I probably would have been a millionaire a long time ago. Also, the whole thing with learning, I think one of the things that I struggled with was finances, was also bringing can you plug your business or your endeavor? Yeah, I can. So, but I feel like when it came to the resources that were there for us, there were a lot of people who felt like we had those same opportunities and we did not. So we also had to prove ourselves in a different manner. So I struggled with that until I decided, like Jackie said, was to create. You got to create your own lane, and that's what I did. I got called to do a lot of speaking engagements, do a lot of facilitating, but it was the way that they wanted it to happen and not the way that it happens for us, right? So like having an entrepreneur program, having my own entrepreneur program and having to fit my program into somebody else's, it just didn't work when they are predominantly white and don't have the same issues that we have when it comes to walking into the bank or knowing what it is that we need to get started. So that was like a struggle. I struggled with that for a long time because I'm like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to have to spend my own money to do this. And that's what I did. So, I think my struggles have made me the woman that I am today and have also made me the strategist that I am today to be able to help others grow. My business is Shauna Solomon and Associates. I have a brand development firm. I'm actually in Houston. My firm itself is based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but we take clients all over the country. And I also have a store, and the name of the store is the Shauna Solomon Collection, and that is for based off of women entrepreneurs because that's how many I used to impact back then. Jason said, ladies, this has been a helpful crash course. Can we rewatch this? I believe so. I think we can download it. You can download it?
I think so. Yeah. And just in terms of business plugs, I'm Jackie Yvonne Nutrition. I help people learn how to eat and move for the bodies and lifestyle they want. I am a certified nutrition specialist, and so I focus around people who want to learn how to live for their lifestyles and what to eat and when to eat and all of those things. I'm an educator by trade, and so my job is to teach you. One of the things that sets me apart from other people in this industry is that the teaching part, I got down pat. My goal is to teach you and to explain the why behind the choices that I want you to make, so that when we're done, you know what to do. Oftentimes you'll see people saying, eat this, here's your meal plan, it's very cookie cutter. And then you do it and you may lose some weight. Life happens, you gain some weight back. Your ability to duplicate that and do it again is very limited because you don't understand the why behind the choices they put together for you. So I'm giving you the why. I'm explaining all of that to you so that you learn about the nutrition you have for your body. I work with people all over the world. I've had clients as far as Istanbul, Turkey, like location doesn't matter. I meet with people virtually. I've done that pre-pandemic until now. In addition to that, I'm also the co-owner of Total Elite Athletics. We are a premium athletic clothing line that was designed by my significant other because he got tired of trying to sew and change up clothing from Nike and other places that didn't fit his growing body. We're both pro bodybuilders, and so everything doesn't fit me the way it fits other people, right? I have broad shoulders, I have a wide back, I have a small waist, I have big legs, and so there's certain things that don't fit me certain ways. And so he designed, I'm not gonna say this lovely outfit my boo made for me. Okay, so where I was upstairs in the live earlier is our sewing office. He does all of the designs, sketches, patterns, sews everything before we send it to manufacturing for them to make it in bulk. So the things that you see, if you go to my page and you'll see our leggings and tops, you can't go to a store or to Alibaba and place an order for that and stick your logo on it. We're also very knowledgeable about threads and brands. So I have people look at our leggings oh my God, these are amazing. And they are looking in the care label, seeing it. If you don't know the GSMs, you can't get that. You're not getting it from the care label. So, but you can follow us here on TikTok at Nutrition Coach. On Instagram, I'm Jackie Yvonne Nutrition. And then the clothing line is Total Elite Athletics. I have links for everything in my bio. If anybody's interested in making a little extra money, I just started an affiliate program where you can earn 20% on whatever you sell or whatever is sold through your link, as a matter of fact. Thank you all so much. Jason said, has everybody tried to body shame you? GSMs is the weight of the fabric. And that's a whole thing that he gets into. I just get the benefit of wearing cute outfits. I battle test all the stuff in the gym. I get to look cute in it. He's the one up there sewing, not me. I know it seems like a huge, you don't see that often, but body shame. No, not often. Every now and then, on a live or a video, I might have it. I remember I made a video and some random man made this comment and said something masculinity at its finest. And of course, I was raised by baby boomers who followed the thought line of, I'm going to give you something to cry about. I talk back real bad. That video got got a community violation because I'm like, first of all, what you're not going to do is look crazy and come and talk to me. But no, I don't get it. Does it bother me if, I mean, I've had women say things like, you know, I don't want to get that bulky. And I'm like, girl, you don't even work this hard to do this. Like, don't worry, you're not going to accidentally look like me. This is taking years of work to do. It's not a fly by night thing. I'm older, you know, I'll be 47. So a lot of stuff doesn't bother me the way it might have bothered me years ago or made me feel some way about it when I was younger. But I don't get it that often. I hear a lot of women say things like, oh, you know, they'll make you, you know, people, you'll see all the videos like, that's the they don't too much, it'll make you look manly. I don't know who's saying this stuff, but I've never heard it repeatedly enough to make a video about it. And the videos that I've seen of those women, I have way more muscle. So I don't know if that's their own insecurities and they're like, let me make a video about it because I think somebody's thinking this about me or not. That's just my suspicion. But from women, you know, it's a mixed bag. Most women come up to me and they love it. They want, you know, they want arms like mine. They want shoulders like mine. For men, I don't really care. This giant man over here who loves me to pieces, that's the only person's opinion I'm worried about in terms of the way my body looks. He loves it. So,
Yeah, he said the guys feel threatened. Absolutely.
yeah, you know what? I'm a huge proponent in that you need to date your speed. People look at me and they may like the way our bodies look as bodybuilders and fitness people, but when you understand what comes to like we're in the gym, you know, 5-6 days a week, every week. We cook big, we eat big. That's all a part of the lifestyle. So I couldn't be with somebody that want to run out and be in the streets every weekend because I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta lift tomorrow. It's leg day. I'm like going to the club, going to go get up under these weights, or I'm going to a massage, or you know, stuff like that. Let me throw you back on. I practice what I preach, and so I'm measuring out my food so I can eat.
Put me back on. I think I'm done. They answered. I mean, I answered their questions. But if anybody wants to reach out to me, my link is in my bio as well. The majority of the women that I deal with, or the women entrepreneurs that I deal with, are they've been in business for some time. They're stuck and want to grow. My tagline is I help people get from stuck to six figures. I have all kind of reviews as well as case studies on what I have done with helping small businesses go from, we've had clients that have been on welfare that are now making mid six figures. And I love the fact that I'm a part of that journey and I've been able to help them grow and not be in a space of stress and being able to get financial security and peace through entrepreneurship. Like that's what we do. I also host a lot of classes. So if you do follow me or click the link on my bio, there is actually a text option for you to text so that you can text brand success and get in on all of the information and the classes and stuff that I do have. The majority of them are free. My website is Shauna Solomon and Associates. So that is also in that link. With the store, make sure y'all follow the store because we got some good stuff coming with that. And again, I absolutely love teaching retail. You will hear me talk probably more about retail than brand success because retail is where my heart is at. And I know there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are in retail, and I've probably made every mistake that you could possibly make. But I've also scaled my business to where between my husband and I, I'm hoping and praying that we reach $1 million this year. Like I've had the pleasure of being able to move down to Houston, probably getting ready to do the exact same thing that Jackie's getting ready to do, get off this live, put my swimming suit on and go across the street and I'm gonna get some content though.
Yeah.
But I go over there and I feel like it's just like enjoying life at this point, you know, with being through so much and all of the negative that has come with being an entrepreneur. It's just like, I think I'm at that time where it's time for me to kind of just Be on cruise control and do like you said that nap thing. Girl, I didn't realize how good naps was
They are.
until I got down here. I was like,
And
oh,
if
these are
anybody
things.
is interested in working with me, I have several options available. If you are not in a position yet where you want to do 16-week coaching, and I'm very careful about who I put in that program because you got to want to be willing to do the work. But I have a variety of services. I just put back up my nutrition reality check call for people that are like, I just need to talk to a nutritionist. I have my food journal. I have my notes. I just need an hour of your time to get some answers. We can certainly do that. That doesn't even require a consultation. All of my other services are at Jackie Yvonne Nutrition. There are also a link in my link tree to be able to go through. Price points are there. You don't have to DM me for a price. The price is what it is on there. I don't change it for people depending on, who they are or what they bring. If you make more money, I charge you more. I don't do any of that. But again, my job is to educate you about the nutrition for your body. So there's a range of services that you can go through. If you're looking for some great athletic apparel, you can go to Total Elite Athletics. Actually, my favorite V-bands are on sale. So you might want to get those. I think I'm going to do a happy birthday Jackie code for next week too. So if you go to Total Elite, make sure you sign up for our newsletter because we push out specials that way. Same thing for Jackie Yvonne Nutrition. All right. And
Thank
somebody
you,
said take a
guys.
break.
It
We've
was
been live for 90 minutes. We have. So
but it was a good conversation. It was a much needed conversation, and I'm glad hopefully you will get something out of it, especially with these nuggets, and start taking care of you.
yeah.
That's the main thing, is taking care of you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Talk to you all soon.
Yeah.
Yep. Take care.